Yes, what up, bitches?
I say what up, bitches.
What up, bitches? So
HP7P2 3D.
yeah, we just got done watching Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is just kind of our little review of it. Stuff.
Brian, what did you think?
And junk. It was a movie.
Indeed it was.
I mean, I honestly wasn't too taken by it one way or another. To be completely fair, it was more action-y stuff. I mean, it has a lot of action to it. Definitely more action-y than Part 1 had.
I told you too. I don't know if for some reason they decided to backload all the things that were happening, and then padded out the first part with
Camping trip.
But I mean, it was a movie. I mean, there were people clapping and cheering and stuff during different parts.
Oh, those fucktards behind us! I even
Jillian cussed
screamed at
some
him.
people out. And it was fantastic.
Oh my god!
This guy behind us was like making all these witty remarks in this huge carrying voice, like we gave two shits. And Jillian just turns around and screams, "Shut the fuck up!" And the whole theater just goes dead quiet. It was marvelous.
And I don't usually do that, but I am married to Brad.
No, it was perfect.
I don't. Not in public. Just with friends.
But no, this movie, I mean, I was looking forward to it. I think the problem was that they got so caught up with the spectacle of it that they forgot to make it a good movie in its own right.
Well, you read the book, so you're relating it to that.
No, I'm just relating it to just movies in general. Because, I mean, it was all like, epic swells and like zooming pan shots and,
stuff, yeah.
Oh god, the 3D. It was like...
the 3D was decent, though.
It was decent, but it was like, we're gonna...
as dark as it was.
We're gonna get to this thing, but first we're gonna creep up this staircase and like zoom in behind this guy's shoulder and take a roller coaster ride.
Well, true, yeah. It did do a lot of fucking around with the 3D.
Coming soon to Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, I mean, it really did feel, though, like you have these two different parts of the movie, and it just felt like, yeah, they and I know they filmed them separately, but it really did feel like they just took the script and like, okay, we'll put all the boring shit in this one, put all the action scenes in this one, and what you end up with is just two really unbalanced movies. You end up with a really boring walking around movie and a really boring action movie, because there's no plot. There's fuck all. Like, the actual plot for Part 2 is like, you can put on a Post-it note. It's like, they finally meet, battle, credits.
Well, see, the thing is that all the plot elements of it, they kind of put on the sidelines for the big action scenes. So, like, parts like him explaining the deal with the Elder Wand is supposed to be, like, going on during this big battle, but instead they decided to do the big battle and then have him just kind of, like, explain it as a sidebar at the very, very end. And it was like...
Which,
again,
by the way,
they got so caught up with the spectacle they forgot to tell us stuff.
Should that thing have looked like,
It did look a little bit like anal beads.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only
I
one.
that's where you were going with that. It was strangely bulbous, yes.
Well, I did like the ending, because I thought they were going to end with, like, the sappy, oh, we're holding hands and it's over now, and then they go, 19 years later, and it's like, yay at the end, but at the time you're like, oh my god, just be over.
Well, we had to pee so bad at that point. It was like, the end, bucket.
But no, I was very satisfied that the way they ended it, and it wasn't just like, oh, blah, 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 won't, and then, just, let's hold hands, and then fade credits, so it was kind of cool to see them in, like, their older form.
Although that older makeup was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
It is like they pushed Draco's hairline back and gave him this ridiculous beard, and like Ron, they just pudged him up and put him in a cardigan.
Yeah, honestly, those kids, they looked exactly the same as they did 19 years earlier.
No, they had a little bit of pepper.
Feet and like ridiculous wigs.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. They spent 5 minutes.
They should put Ron in a big bushy beard.
They should have.
But I mean,
should put Hermione in a big.
I was looking at those kids and I'm like, they look the fucking same.
Well, it's the same kid, baby.
Shavis razors.
Okay,
Neville looks like he's 30, but that was like before the 19 years after.
Yeah, that kid got cut,
dude. They made Alan Rickman look like he did 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. They couldn't make those kids look 2 fucking years older.
They did do a really good job, because I was worried, because I knew that they were going to do a flashback part with him, and I was worried they were going to like do that creepy, make you younger, face pulled taut makeup that they do, but they did kind of like tricks with his hair and just like subtle makeup, and it turned out really well.
They did okay making him look younger, but yeah, those kids, they didn't make them look a fucking day older. Mm-hmm. They looked the exact same. Well, they let the blonde kid grow a beard, really shitty, like patchwork, like redneck beard.
He's got the the complexion, though. I can't imagine he grows a beard very well.
It's a complexion of an
baby skin.
albino.
Anywho, back to
Back to the movie, yes.
Yes.
It was definitely a
Sorry,
movie.
that was the most exciting thing for me.
It was Draco Malfoy's beard.
well, as soon as they showed
Exactly.
the kids, and it was like, you know, they had the initials on the luggage, like last initial P, and it was like a redhead and 2 boys. I'm like, they fornicated! I don't want that in my head.
So, can't get it out. But yeah, I mean, I really can't think of. I mean, there were a couple cool scenes. I'm not like. I mean, well, you know this. I honestly couldn't give 2 shits about this series.
But you watched it, and that's the
But
important
yeah, I mean, there were a couple cool scenes, but I mean, nothing that like really kind of like I'm not like walking away from it like, oh my god, my opinion of the series has
They were like,
changed.
phew, and they were like, pew, pew.
But yeah, there's like there's huge plot elements that just took out wholesale. Like they
You could
mentioned
tell.
at the very beginning that book that Rita Skeeter wrote about Dumbledore. They get into that like
Don't use
way
names in this.
okay, big beardy
The
guy.
fans will know.
The thing that annoying mosquito lady wrote about
Gandalf
big beardy.
the White. I
Yes,
remember when he
Gandalf the
shows
White.
up
He like
in the
has
Matrix
like
construct.
a adorable little like gay relationship with this evil guy back in the day, and there's like this whole big thing, and they ignored it completely.
Oh, and when
I'll take your word for that.
because spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert,
Because we
Dumbledore's
never do
gay.
spoilers here. No. When Harry goes to pseudo heaven or whatever, teaching kids that you can go back if you want to, and they show like this creature, and it looks like the creature from the Black House, the silliest Black House, and that's what I thought it was. And then it turns out that it's a part of Dumbledore that died that was attached to Harry. It's all like inverted and bloody and muscly, and I'm like, for kids.
Yeah, creepy bloody fetus.
Yeah, I'm just like, Jesus.
Oh, that scene that was from Eraserhead in the movie.
You said for kids at some point during the movie. I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it when that guy burst into flames and died?
It may have been after they decided to drop a 17-year-old kid into a giant swirling pit of fire. It could have been after other people were just disintegrated. I don't know. I mean, this is a violent movie. I don't know what it is with kids' movies all of a sudden. Like Transformers 3 was the same way. They'd get to the end battle scenes in these movies, and it was like, fuck it. These kids are old enough. You know what's coming. It's like blowing fucking people up.
I did
just
get a little
straight up-
teary-eyed.
So you know that shit got real.
Straight up murder is what's going on. Like that one kid, the snivelly one.
The redhead?
Which sniveling?
The one with the sword.
Oh, Neville.
Neville.
But he lived.
He kills like 100 people.
That's because he's my boy.
He tricks them onto a bridge
Prepare to meet Kali.
and blows the shit up. It just
They were bad guys.
they were still people.
It was
Hundreds of
self-defense,
them.
Brian.
Hundreds of people that he drops into a fucking canyon. That kid is sadistic.
Yeah, I'm going to werewolves. They eat children.
Oh, they eat children.
Yes, they deserve to die.
Okay. I eat children. Do I deserve to die?
Yes.
No.
If you eat
Because
children.
you ask first.
I'm sorry if you eat children, Brian. I'm cutting your head off with a sword.
But no, I mean, it's just a lot of honestly, like a lot of actual violence in this movie. Like I say, especially towards the end, like it, the fight scenes are just kind of brutal, really. Just with the number of people dying and the ways
Oh, God,
like the kid like falling, screaming as he drops into this lake of fire.
Well, there was one scene that was so brutal that we actually started laughing a little bit, and that's when Snape gets it from that snake.
Oh,
Because-
Jesus.
Jesus.
From the other side of the screen,
You see
just
like blood
bump,
splatters
bump,
and him just
and
like
it's
being
just
slammed against the wall by the snake.
Yeah, it's the scene is kind of I didn't even know I didn't even see actually how it happens, but yeah, throat slit, bleeding out, falls down, and then the fucking snake from Anaconda starts just bludgeoning him to death. I don't know if it was actually biting him or just stomping the piss out of him because the thing was the size of a tree.
Both.
But yeah, you see that from like the other side of like a window that's all smeared up, but you can totally see what the hell is happening. And he's getting beat to shit by this snake. like thumping against the glass. Harry's like sitting there like, that sounds bad.
Are you okay?
Yeah, way to go, hero. Spring into action.
Hey, you eat babies. You can't do that.
Just to get their power.
Well, I never should have loaned you a modest proposal.
It made sense at the time.
Real baby back ribs. Okay, anyway.
Everything with sauce.
Falling off the boat.
There was one scene, though, I couldn't help but laugh out loud in the theater when...
About a cadaver.
And again, I honestly don't care about spoilers for this. The book's been out for, 5 years now?
Not only that, but, like, this entirety of Midnight Madness Summer has been spoilers, so you're good.
But
We're allowed to talk about the movie.
halfway through the movie, Harry dies because the...
Because he's a
Part
hard
of
guy.
his soul is...
Yeah, whatever. He's
magic
carrying
shit.
a D8.
And honestly, people were calling that online around book 4, so...
But, yeah, he gets... Like, the death curse gets thrown on him in a big way because Ray Fiennes just...
He sold that shit.
He overacted the fuck out of that line.
Avada Kedavra!
He didn't even say the words. Like, the first part of it was just like... Like, no one ever...
We're like here in his face, too.
Yeah, it's zoomed in as shit. But and my problem with the that particular curse is that I was noticing because you guys were rewatching part 1 of part 7 earlier, that every time somebody says that, like the closed captioning you had on like head at the bottom, like the actual thing, but then everybody's just like, I love that. Like, no one actually enunciates a single word of it. There's an A and a gibberty gibber. That's it. That's all that they actually scream out.
Sarah also pointed out that while we were watching it, that, like, I don't know, year 4 they learned how to do spells without actually, like, saying it.
I can't remember what year it was, but yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it's more just like a mental thing. Like, you don't actually have to say it, so you can just
like
be like, pink baby bunnies! And, like, as long as you think it, it'll happen. Believe.
It still doesn't make any sense to me. Because
It's magic.
at that point...
Doesn't make sense.
At that fucking point, though, just don't
Really?
say anything.
That's what took you out of the movie, Brian? That was the moment you're like, nope, I don't buy it.
Yes, that was the moment. No,
The moment is when they look 27, and it's like their sixth
was the
or
beard.
7th year of school.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I had like some...
I didn't care. Like, if you guys want to talk more about this, I'm pretty much done with what I wanted to bitch about.
I had pertinent things that I was like, oh yeah, you know, I want to talk about that. But then a-holes behind us, I'm just like, I was like, I don't want to yell at them again because I might that's all, folks. Quite possibly get my throat slit knowing, like, you know, crazy shit that happens in theaters.
Yeah, when someone screams shut the fuck up at you and you don't shut the fuck up, there's something wrong with you. So, you know, we might have ended up in a knife fight or something.
I will cut a bitch. Be like, oh yeah, shit. And then I'm just sitting there bleeding out. And like, you and Brad are like, shh.
And then a snake beats you to death.
Keep quietly.
No, it's okay because I learned from the movie that even though if I die, I can choose to take a train back.
Yeah, that's pretty handy. That was a little ridiculous.
We believe in Harry Potter.
Yeah, couldn't the little bloody fetus have chosen not to die?
Presumably. If it could talk, but it was a weird fetus.
Start the reactor.
Which, again, is that what it does in the book? Is it like a creepy little...
Yeah, it doesn't really describe it in any detail. It's just kind of a creepy little deformed thing.
Well, the thing that threw me off is
Ray finds his face.
Did it not look like the little house elf from
Like
Sirius
Dob-
Black? No, not Dobby, Creature. 'Cause
Oh.
it had... I
Sort of.
seriously
I
think...
thought it looked like it had kind of Ray finds his face.
Well, it did, but yeah, at first when it showed it, like, I had no idea what the fuck it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I thought it was, the treasure troll that died at the end of the first one. 7 part 1.
Way too
7.1.
Oh, part 1. Okay.
HP7P1. 2D.
We'll just call him Willow.
So yeah, at first, it threw me because I had no idea what the fuck was supposed to be happening. And, and it was, I don't know. even the scene itself, it says what it's supposed to be, but it doesn't really describe it with any sort of clarity for me.
The kid's kind of like, what the hell is that thing? Oh, it's part of Voldemort. Let's walk this way.
Where do you think we are, Harry? You tell me.
Was it? And this was a thing, and I know it's the most ridiculously anal thing for me, but he gets hit and killed and goes to the
Train station heaven.
place between worlds, and for whatever reason, his jacket and glasses are missing.
Well, you don't need glasses in heaven, Brad.
No,
and it's not cold, so you don't need a jacket.
It just made me think, like, did everything, like, did the curse not kill his glasses and jacket? Are they still alive?
Well, you know how sometimes when you get hit by a car, it makes your shoes fly off? Maybe it was like that, but with a jacket.
Well, see, it's Hogwarts rules. It's not ghost rules where whatever you die in, you're stuck in. Because he had a different T-shirt. So, and Dumbledore.
No, that was the same T-shirt he was wearing. It was just cleaner.
It's the Die Hard effect.
Although, thinking about it, yeah, Michael Gambon, he wasn't wearing his little like beard scrunchie.
You noticed that too. He was missing his little beard scrunchie. I don't know. Of
course, he also
Scrunchies
wasn't wearing
aren't in
his
style in heaven.
like curly-toed like genie.
His beards aren't
slippers.
unruly in heaven, so you don't need the beard scrunchie.
I think we're at a loss
I
for
think
words
we're
now.
done.
Okay, so
Spent.
final thoughts. You
Jesus.
zoom in.
It was a good movie. I rewatching part 1 I think was a good idea because I was like, what the fuck happened? And so if you haven't seen part 1 in a while, probably watch it because they literally just do like a 2 seconds from how part 1 ended and you won't know and what the fuck's going on. Well, I mean, you'll know what's going on, but if you want to like remember and just watch it as a whole. It is interesting that I learned on the DVD features that there is a pivotal scene of Ron and Hermione skipping stones that was cut from the original film. So if you would like to watch that, it is on HP7P1
2D.
2D, unless you have it on 3D HD. So, it's so late. I'm sorry. I'm so tired. No, I liked it overall. Like I said, there were a few parts where I'm like, gah, and it did the same thing as part 1 where it was like kind of Lord of the Ringsy at points, and they kind of did the mummy type thing with like there's this part where like water's flying and it's got Voldemort's face and stuff, and so it's like every once in a while you kind of like watch and you're like, oh, that's totally like such and such, and that's something that kind of pisses me off. But other than that, I mean, I enjoyed it. And I didn't read the book, so that'll be interesting whether it fulfilled your book-to-movie fantasy.
Not me, her.
Oh, me. Hello.
I didn't read these.
I do think you should read the book because it explains a bunch of stuff.
We ain't much for
They
reading.
didn't explain like at all in the movie. But yeah, it was good. Again, way too wrapped up in its own spectacle, and the constant 3Ding in my face didn't help. And it was just... There's a lot of flash, no substance.
Well, we were in fucking row 2.
Yeah, that didn't help. Literally, like, the first scene was, like, a kind of faraway shot where we're, like, coming up on the castle, and we were so close to the screen because we were in the second row, that there was, like, this weird double effect, and I literally, like, had to sit back in my seat because it was just so
It took
jarring.
me a while for my eyes to adjust.
I don't know why they, filled the theater enough that those front 3 rows would have to be filled, because obviously 3D doesn't work that close to the screen. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was flashy, and it's a popcorn movie, and definitely watch the first one.
I would say don't watch the first one. It was really, really boring. Have fun with that. It's tasty.
I'm not gonna put it in my mouth.
So yeah, honestly, you can skip the first one. You're not gonna miss anything. Honestly, it's really boring.
It's camping trip movie.
This one here again, there was a lot of stuff happening, but just not enough stuff to really keep your interest. Really, I mean, flashy stuff on screen, bright colors and all that. But aside from that, I mean, it was just action scenes. That's all it was. It was just a movie full of action scenes without a plot.
You can tell very much that they were concerned with the 3D aspect, because a lot of the action, he was all like, now 3D this, now 3D that. And you do get kind of lost because you're like, they're doing it just because it's 3D. And
I know,
that
like
was
that
distracting.
snake creeping up the table. I mean, Brian even said aside to me, like, well, here's a shot for the previews.
Yeah, here's one for the trailer.
And yeah, like again, there was that one scene where you're just like slowly running at like ankle level up this giant staircase, and it was just for the 3D. There was no point to doing that shot.
Yeah, I don't know. If you like watching school kids die gruesome deaths because of
You followed for 6 years.
war between a bunch of disorganized people. I mean, honestly, these kids should have lost. They should have lost. They were outnumbered, outmatched, outskilled. The only thing that really saved the day was the fact that they wrote a happy ending in the book. That's it. I mean, these kids should have just been fucked.
Honestly, if you're
Proper
watching
fucked.
this movie, you know what you're getting into. I mean, you've watched the other 7, you know, and you're
Not
watching
Brad.
it. Well, Brad kind of fucked himself into this
Brad
one
at
by saying
like
he'd watch all the
3.5
midnight
or
releases.
4.5.
I love he was hoping against hope that Winnie the Pooh would be a midnight showing, so he wouldn't have to watch Harry Potter. But
That was an awkward call.
Too
Do you have a midnight showing of Winnie the Pooh?
and we're all sitting there just laughing at him.
I do think, though, that there was one scene that I really did enjoy, though, in the movie. When...
The credits rolled.
Yes. No,
Was Snape
when,
love Lily?
when Hermione and Ron...
Yes.
I honestly just
Don't pretend you don't know.
No, I honestly just blanked on his name. I'm like, Rob? No, that's wrong. They're using a dragon tooth to stab a teacup.
Restless tooth.
Sorry. Well, anyway, which, by the way,
I'm sorry, I believe you mean a basilisk fang.
they killed that thing in one of the earlier
Part
movies.
two.
And just,
It was the goblet of Hufflepuff. Or
okay,
whatever.
they killed it in the second movie and then just left its body there
I think so, yeah.
to just sit there. Okay.
Out of respect.
But they're using it to kill a little tiny, participation trophy from a Little League game. And in the back of the scene, because it's a beautiful setting for it, is the giant face of fucking Zardoz. So that was fun for me. I love Zardoz. I'd rather watch Zardoz. Okay, that's my opinion. If you want to watch this movie, don't watch Zardoz. Peace.
Bye.